Hi, good evening. Uh, this is Dr. Khan from KSG. It gives me immense pleasure to interact with you live this evening with you. Uh, Wherever you are, in whichever place, I am reaching you live at this moment, and we are meeting for a purpose, for trying to understand as to how one can go about, I would say, uh, using technology, and that is state of art technology as we may call it now, has arrived, and then how we can guide our preparation in civil services with this. In fact, I've already started getting questions here. I will take all the questions as I proceed further, but at the moment I would like to give you a broad uh, outline, and then I'll go into specific questions that you may be having. Those questions would be coming here, and then I would definitely, Jajula, I would like to get to questions. I would already getting quite a few questions here. I would like to tell you what I'm aiming to achieve today in this meeting is that get an idea about how we can possibly organize our preparation for the civil services while we are staying in the comfort of our own location without geographically changing our position, how we can benefit the best of information that one can ask for, the best of mentorship one can ask for, best of teaching one can ask for, while not moving out of your own geographical location. Well, I should tell you that it gives me immense pride that now this technology that we're talking about, that is reaching you live from any part of the country, has matured to the extent that we have started getting some results also. In fact, KG, as you know, that we have traditionally been, I would say, a more of a brick and mortar kind of organization, brick and mortar type of organization where we had our physical centers, and I'm very, very particular about it. I mean, these are all KSG centers, be it Kolkata or Hyderabad or Bangalore or any place that you talk about, apart from Delhi, Jaipur, Bangalore, or for that matter, Indore. All these centers are KG centers, and our faculties are flying and then kind of giving the same quality. And we have had in the past getting results from all the centers. But it gives me immense pride that students who have been enrolled with us through this through the cloud mode, that is online mode also, they have started producing result, and then we have this year under 50 also we have got our candidates using this method have been uh, getting result, and that is giving me immense confidence, and I'm happy to get back to you sharing that yes, I mean this model has also matured. I'll tell you a simple thing. I mean, I suppose you must be knowing it already. These days, you are having inundation of information. In fact, information has become so cheap, so accessible, so diverse that you suddenly have got so much of information at your disposal, you have almost no idea as to what to do with them. In fact, I have no hesitation to say that you are carrying in your pocket in the form of your mobile phone more information that you can ever be given by any coaching institute. But then, while you have got all the information that I can imagine ever giving you, this as a kind of positive, it also is its negative too. Now you have got so much information that you are nearly, I would say, confused is the right word to use, which one to use and which one not to use. And there comes the importance of a coaching institute, which can tell you that, hey, this you don't have to read, this you don't have to read, and this is what is you can possibly read. And that's very important, and that's not occurred to us on day one. It has we have evolved with it. We have an experienced team of faculties, experienced team of mentors who can actually bespoke plan your studies, and then it can possibly tell you that hey, this is required, this is to be done, and this is to be avoided, this is not to be this to be ignored. But then the benefit of a coaching doesn't stop there. In fact, I must tell you, the real benefit is not just passing the information or, so to say, right kind of information to you, but the real benefit lies for a coaching is that when somebody is able to tell you that, hey, have you used this information properly or not? Because there are two things in this preparation for civil service examination. One, that is your uh, information that you have got. And the second, how effectively are you using that information? And that is something which is extremely, extremely vital, the skill part of it, so to say. And a lot of time, we have the information, but we do not know what to do with it. KSG, I must tell you, takes pride in the fact that we work on skilling. Because I hope you have heard of a reference. In fact, I did a book also on this recently, metacompetition. You're not competing with anybody but your own self. You are in a state of competition with your own self. That means you're trying to improve yourself, not by just knowledge, but by skill. And that skill is something which is required to be improved when somebody is actually pinpointing your common mistakes that you commit in the process. It's not nowadays required that I should be telling you that this exam is conducted at 3 levels. This has got this syllabus, this has got this kind of questions being asked. You all have that information. What I need to be doing is that, I mean, when you get a question, are you properly processing that information or not? When you have processed the information, are you able to really express that information or not? Do you understand when I'm asking a question that what is meant by when I have asked a question? It's not that what to read, from where to read, how to read. It's more to do with how to use the information that you have acquired. And in fact, KSG is one of the front runner in the country, I must tell you, which has changed its position from just the provider of the information, just giving dictations of informations and a huge pile of books. We have come to a stage when we are reaching out to each and every student to identify as to how they can use that information. And when we have a question being asked, what is the crux of the demand of the question? In fact, a lot of you do not understand what question is being asked. And I take this personal care. In fact, I'm connected to each one of our students, Enroll students, that they let me know as to, hey, this is how it is, I'm going about it. This is what my problem is. I would be very happy to take up their questions and then have them addressed. Because there's a generational gap. Let's not forget about it. Between my generation and your generation is answering, my generation is asking. You do not quite often understand what I'm asking. And if you do not know what I'm asking, how can you answer? And there is a humongous gap between my expectation and your delivery. And that's largely because nobody trains you as to this is my expectation was. And in KSG, we take a lot of pride in your answer writing skills. It's not information. I am repeating this again, but I'm very conscious of what my statement is coming now. It's not the information. Information is democratized. Everybody has information. Everybody has got somewhere or other access to the classes or the material that they have got. It is no more the domain of the four walls of the classroom that those who pay hefty fee and they alone are having privy to the information that is being delivered there. In fact, the world has moved. The coaching demand has moved, and then KSG is a front runner in that, which lets you know as to how to use the information that you have got. And that is extremely vital. And I take a lot of pride in this very aspect of delivery that we have got. It's not that we give and then we say like, hey, that's our job is over. No, we have a methodology in which we deliver, give you information, which any coaching institute can do. We also give you the material that's more to not collect information or load your information, but some material which you can use for revision quickly. And most importantly, we focus on how best you can answer question when the questions are being asked from that segment from which has been delivered to you and you have read already. And there comes the expertise of KSG, which will guide you to right answers. Right answers, not writing. because I hope you understand there's a difference between writing and answering. And we help you in meta competition. I repeat this word again. Meta competition is where you are actually competing with your own self. And in fact, if you talk about this competition, I would not like to tell you that this is a competition when you're competing with anybody else. No. Yes, you're not competing with anybody else, because for competing with somebody else, you have to know that other person that you're competing with. You cannot compete with somebody while your category is different. You may be a very young girl or young boy, and somebody is preparing for 4 or 5 years or 7 years, maybe already preparing. How can you compete with that person? That person is not competing with you. You're not competing with that person. You are competing with your own self. Do you think that somebody who has been preparing for 7, 8 years, 9 years has got a more chance, a better chance than somebody who has just started? Certainly not. You see, a lot of people in first attempt produce such beautiful results, and somebody who produces similar result in 7 years. It's not because they were competing across. It's because they were competing with themselves, and some people take longer to find a better version of themselves. If I say better, I basically mean the desired version of themselves. The desired version of themselves, which UPSC has asked for. Quite often, it takes a while for you to know that. A coaching like ours can guide you as to how you can find your own better version. What is the expectation of the UPSC from you? And then when you get to know about what is the expectation of yours from UPSC at all the different levels, at preliminary level, at mains level, and interview level, then I'm sure once guided, you definitely can make good use of that resources that you have already got in your mobile phone, resources that is given by a coaching institute. And there is the real importance of a coaching. A lot of people say that, hey, information is available everywhere, the classes are available everywhere, the material is available everywhere. Why should I do coaching? Well, it's something like, I mean, you have got everything. The wordings of the songs are written in the diary that you have got. You don't become a singer. Somebody has to help you, and somebody has to identify the nuances of the notes when you are singing. That then you get to know that, hey, this is where my note went out of sync. This is where I committed a mistake. And this is a regular process. And we are the institute, I must tell you, with full responsibility. We are the institute which is always known for it, and that is what where I would say it's not a coincidence. I repeat again, it's not a coincidence that KSG tends to get the highest marks getter in different years uh, in entire country in general studies. But I must tell you, since it is a skill based, it is not information based anymore. Skill has to be acquired. I will say with full humility that all those people who have been part of the KSG have got highest marks in the country in general studies. They aren't the ones who were just by virtue of being the part of the KSG, they transferred the responsibility to the KSG, and the KSG has delivered for them. No, it's not like that. KSG was delivering to everybody. Some, like any other skill, acquired it. So if you're thinking of joining KSG, KSG is only useful when you are keen on acquiring the skill that we are imparting. You have to acquire the skill. Information can be transferred. Don't forget this. Information can be transferred, but a skill has to be acquired. So we help you how to skill you. We help you to know as to how we can do it. But then it is not like one day, one correction will make the difference. One day, one information is given forever. If you know one information that this is it, and that's it. Article 15 of the Constitution is this, you know the information. But when the question is asked, there the nuances are not asked like what is Article 15. They would ask a lot of nuances which are associated with it, and then that's where the skill part comes into play. That's where the expression parts come into play, and that's where our mentorship and regular interventions come into play. We have designed our plan of KOL, as we call it, KSG Online, in such a manner that you get all the possible benefits of a classroom coaching right there in your home itself. But then I tell you a few things that you must not forget. See, in classroom, there's one big advantage that you have got is that your reception is more. See, can you imagine that the information that our faculty members give, or I like to teach in the class, or whatever we are giving you, it is not that we invent something and give you. You can possibly find it yourself. Only thing, it will take your time to really identify those relevant information. But then you can always find. But have you noted, while you're sitting in the class, in 1 hour that you are able to acquire is probably what you would yourself acquire in one full day. 3 hours of class, 3 hours of class would mean probably 3 days of work that you would have done on your own. And there's no secret in this. It's very simple. Very simple fact is that when you are listening to the thing in the class, you are very attentive. You're very attentive in the sense, like, you know that this vibration that is there in the class because of the sound produced by the faculty member, that's going to be there for a small part of the second. If I've acquired it, fine. If not, it's gone forever. So your attention level goes very high. And that is the reason why in KSG online courses also, a lot of people, they just think that it is there with me. I can play it, though we give you those recorded versions for as many times that you want to play, for as long as you want to play, for a very, very long time you can actually play. But that's not the point. My point is that you should heighten your reception, and that is where I would like to tell you that you should ensure that you watch it live. If not live, do not give yourself a choice to watch again, because if you're giving you a choice to watch 2 times, 3 times, your attention level that much is suboptimal. So if you are listening live to the lectures live, and also making notes, and reception is going high, you're making best use of the case. And that is why we don't encourage kind of recorded lectures to be given. It is updated to the moment that the faculty member, when it's meeting, like I'm talking to you right now, it is my latest version that you are seeing. And then the second thing is that when you're watching it live, your attention level is very high, and that is why we insist on those live classes. And you get the same benefit, no matter you have got some work, no matter you have got some personal engagement, no matter that you have got some financial constraints, or you have got some uh, factors of mobility that you cannot shift to the place where the KG center is located. You can stay there, but try making good use of this in this manner. And since technology has matured, I must tell you that now you can always give your answers, because we believe in not giving the information, but we also conduct tests. Quite often, we are known in the country that we teach less and we ask more. Actually, my intention and philosophy at KSG is not making you a very learned person. I think we are not making you a very, very knowledgeable student. We are making you a good examinee. And if you are a good examinee, I'm sure you'll pass the examination. So there's no cognitive dissonance that we have got. Like, our idea is to pass the examination and we are acting like a student. That's not something which we believe in. If you want to pass the examination, act like examinee. And then you'd have those cognitive resonance, not dissonance, cognitive resonance, and then you would certainly have your efforts multiplying into results. And that is what we are interested in. We give you information, we take tests and correct if there are some delivery mismatch. Delivery mismatch from our side, from your side, irrespective, we have them corrected right in time, and then we just go on conducting those POD tests. So when you write and upload the answers, there's a team of senior mentors who would go through that and then give their comment and tell you how to improve that. And then that is also vetted by somebody senior to them. And then that person also gets you an idea as to how to really, really understand it. And then in the process, you are able to get a thing which is extremely, extremely useful. Correction that you have got while you are already on the way. Quite often people do one thing, they just collect the information, they just join the test series. When they join the test series, it's already too late. I suppose skilling has to be done over a long period of time, small adjustments, small changes, and that ultimately delivers. Because the questions UPSC is asking is not flat, is not very straight. The questions are very, very nuanced. And when you're preparing for your examination, you're preparing for polity, you're preparing for economy, you're preparing for geography, you're preparing for environment and whatnot. But when the questions are asked, they're so much intermixed that they do not really conform to any particular silos in which you may have prepared yourself. You may have prepared in the silos of economy, polity, environment, technology, geography, disaster management, social issues, ethics, and whatnot. When the questions come, they all get mixed up. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. And then there is the skill that you have got. And I suppose this is where KSG comes into picture and then corrects you and improves your small things. Because I told you, you are competing with your own self. There is a meta competition. I suppose you're competing with your own self. You're not competing with anybody else. And then you're finding a better version of yourself every night. And I'm sure that's something which is what we all are very keen and that you should be having. In fact, when I was thinking about conducting a workshop, I was not planning to give a long lecture. In fact, workshop, as the name itself explains, that we would be basically having more of an interaction, try to reach some of you who have got certain doubts, and then would love to take those doubts, and based on that, I will have them corrected. And these doubts may appear, I would say, to be individual, but then a lot of doubts are common. So you'll benefit from the doubts that others are having. And then that is how I would like to use this platform for today. I think the first question is that I have got is that from Jajula Prakash is that please tell me notes making process for UPSC. Notes, I suppose there's so many techniques that you will find that cliff note to whatnot that you have got. So many techniques that you have got. But I'll tell you for UPSC. Let us understand why we make notes. We make notes because we understand whatever we may have read may not last in our memory for too long because we cannot read the same stuff several times over. So we have to have something as a shorter version of it that we can revise several times. So when you are making notes, I would be very happy that you only make factual entry, name or event or places or data, whatever it is, factual entry in the note, and they are the basic ingredients that you will be using. When you're making notes, I would like you to make notes on loose sheets, and when you're making notes on the loose sheets, try to put titles on them. In fact, if you ask me, I would like to advise that you please look at the syllabus and with the heads of the syllabus, you please write down one page. There are 67 heads that we have got. If some of you are interested, what are those 67 heads of the UPSC main syllabus? You can send us a message and give us your email and phone number. We'll be happy to send you WhatsApp copy of those 67 themes that you would be having. And on those 67 themes, you just go on collecting information, and whatever information that comes, that can be updated there itself. Keep it at one place. Let's say you have got one page on banking. So whatever banking information comes, that gets added there itself. And then that should be on loose sheet. Another page can be on Supreme Court of India. Another page can be on Nepal. Another page can be on something else. And these all go into respective file. Like Supreme Court goes in a file which is of polity. Nepal goes in a file which is international relations. Banking goes in a file which is of economy, and then initially you'll be making lots and lots of pages, but gradually you'll find that all the information of banking is collected at one place. And that is why I said loose pages, so that you can always update and add them there. And do not make very lengthy detailed notes. I suppose you should always make those notes which you think that I'll forget it unless I've revised it several times, and that way a note is always very light. Ultimately, when you go to the examination, these notes will become a super note can also come, and the super note will be notes note. But then don't work on super notes now. Just make notes and make super notes when you are very close to the examination. That's how I would like you to go about it. Muhammad Abdul, Assalamu alaikum. कब start होगा? Start हो गया है Abdul. We are already there. And how to make notes is again, Ishita is also notes making is a very common question. Ishita also asking how do we how to do answer writing. Ishita, good that you have asked this question. Answer writing has to first of all understood that writing is not answering. A lot of time we write thinking that we are answering, and then that's when we are thematically responding to the question. Let's say a question which comes from a theme of uh, economy doesn't necessarily mean that you write about whatever economic issues that you know. You have to answer. And then to answer, it is very important that you understand the question. At this stage, that I can possibly tell you there are two aspects of understanding of the question. You should understand the core slash cores of the question. How many components are there? How many cores are there in the question? Because you have to answer on the core of the question, A. And then what is the context of that questions? So context has to be seen in terms of those subject context. Like let's say you have got a question being asked of uh, monsoon with the context of uh, a drought and failure of government policies in a particular region where we have ethical challenge of suicide happening. Now you can not really see that this context is like it's not only monsoon, it's not geography, it is also disaster management, it is also administration, it's also social issues, also ethics. So you have to understand the context in which it is asked, and more importantly, you have to see the command word that is coming in the context. Have they asked you to evaluate? Have they asked you to uh, describe? Have they asked you to discuss or analyze or critically narrate, or for that matter, elucidate or illustrate? Now you're getting this flavor of nuances. The question, when it is having cores, quite often there are more than one core. Quite often we don't understand what is the core of the question. So you have to understand first thing is the core of the question, and you also have to understand the context of geography coming with disaster management coming with administration coming with social administration, and geography coming along with ethics. So you have to understand the context and also the command word. When you internalize the question, then you have to start answering. And don't forget, your writing answer, which is of my generation, your parents' generation, which is classical generation, uh, which does not entertain any nonsense, or you write anything and then think that you can get away. You can't show off. You can't show me those kind of technical jargons, etc. No, I am interested in the answer. Are you giving me answer or not? If you give me answer, I'll give you marks. So you have to basically understand my generations. I have a team of people who would basically uh, 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 get all the possible expectations matched from the answer that you write. And that is one way that you have to be doing. I think I like you to do, Ishita, one exercise. I know there are many more questions to take. Do you agree one thing with me that if there is one question, there has to be one answer, isn't it? You take one question and then write it down and keep it away. Take the same question about 2 weeks later, write another answer, keep it away. Take the same question about 2 weeks later, still, and then write again. See all the three answers. Are they same? Probably they are not, because your understanding is very contextual, and that is why you're writing different. Another exercise I like to give you, and that's very interesting. You write an answer of a question, tear off the question from the top, give it to your friend, and ask your friend to make a question out of it. You'll be surprised. If the question that you have written is about ethical challenges in dealing with the financial stress the farmers are having, which leads to commitment of suicide, how administrative intervention can attend this problem, you give that answer to your friend, and your friend says that agricultural pricing problem of India. I think it does connect with agriculture, but that's not what it was asked. So you'll be surprised, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. You don't get marks for what you write, you get marks for what I have understood you have written. And there is a humongous gap between that. So, whatever your friend says, that I think you have written this, accept with all your humility that this is all what I read. I wrote, and that's when you gradually get to understand. In KSG, I have seen, I don't want to name them, but some students, they were writing pathetic, but with the practice sessions that we have had, with the kind of regular intervention we've done, we found that they were writing answers that was probably one of the best in the country. and we're so used to seeing the best overall and best in papers every year from the students who have been part of the course. And this is a long course where we emphasize on your skills, very, very crucial component of KSG online learning, when you can get all the advantages sitting at your home, and then you are in a position to really get it curated for the requirement of the UPSC. I hope you're getting some broad idea about it. Uh, the next question is from Tara. Sir, which coaching, the KG Indore or Bhopal? I think that's very difficult for me to answer, because for me both are equal. Because if the same KSG, same Dr. Khan goes to all the places, spend the same amount of time, our faculties are same, our material is same, method is same. It may be better for you or better for some other place for you because of your own geographical location and the convenience of commutation, etc. Otherwise, well, for KG, both are the same, and that I can assure you. The same faculty, the same Dr. Khan goes to all the places and spends time there. I suppose next question is Anu, is that, sir, when we should start making notes? Anu, I think 5 minutes after I finish this, you can start making notes. Because I mean, there's no time that you should start making notes. Initially, be prepared to make uh, excessive notes. I mean, more than required notes. You'll be initially making lots of notes which you do not think you'll use it later. But that's the only way that one proceeds. That's the only way one learns how to make notes. And gradually, you'll find that you'll be making notes which are refined and get, because initially you would be in a kind of uh, what you call it as Pleushkin syndrome is the word. Pleushkin syndrome is one in which, like, I mean, you just go on hoarding everything. You say that, hey, maybe lost, maybe lost, maybe lost. So you just are suffering from Pleushkin syndrome, and then you collect so much of information. And ultimately, when you go for some more distance in preparation, you realize that, hey, this I can't remember. I'm just keeping 3 books and writing the 4th one. No, that's not the way. But gradually, you would find that you would have enough material and that's relevant ones that you have collected. So I think it will happen gradually. Make notes as soon as possible, and then make notes from the right places and get it verified by somebody as a mentor if you are in connect with. Show that to the other person. Ask yourself, if you don't have any mentor, that will I be able to revise this material or not? If yes, then in that case you should be doing. Otherwise, you should just focus on collecting information. Then we have another question coming, Ankita here. So I want to do post-graduation, but I don't decide my optional subject till now, and my graduation completed this year. Well, Ankita, I think I would like you to advise that if your age has that kind of possibility that you are not mature to write the examination age-wise, you can go for post-graduation. But for this examination, post-graduation is not required. You see, most of the people from graduation itself, they are making good grades. But then if you want to go for post-graduation, you should decide about your optional ASAP. Because if you're doing a post-graduation in an area that you have been exposed to, I suppose it really helps. And I think it's a good idea. But then deciding the optional and then going for post graduation, that's one parameter. The second parameter is lots of people do a post graduation keeping in mind their backup plan. If you have a what is your requirement? You want to consolidate your optional, or you want to have a backup plan? Based on that, you can decide about the subject for which you will be going for your masters. So that's something which is what I like you to keep in mind. Also, Parul, good evening, sir. Good evening. When we should start preparing for optional, how can we manage GS and optional both? Well, Parul, I think one thing I would like to tell you is that you're not the first person who's managing both. Everybody manages, you can also manage it. So if you just internalize that I'm not the only person who has been victim of preparing both of them together, I suppose half the job is done. Now, the second thing that comes is that dividing time and then when to start optional, depending on the marks that you have got. Because you see, GS is in PT, GS is in mains, 1000 marks, 500 marks is for optional. And even essay topics are having those content which comes from general studies. Even interview is mostly on around general studies. So you understand the importance of general studies, and accordingly you should allocate time to it. And then as far as optional is concerned, normally I would imagine that 1 year in advance, preparing or exposing with the optional is a good idea. Let's say, for example, you're going for 2025. I think start with GS, get into the flow, and then try covering with the optional by the year end, so that you have next year not much of optional baggage to be carried. If at all you're going for January and maybe early part of February, I don't mind it so much. But then it is, if you're giving first attempt, it's best that the year before you should have collected all the information. You may have not by hearted, you may have not written test series, but you have collected all the information of optional a year in advance, and that's always a good idea. We have got Ankita. How I decide optional subject in few days. I suppose I would say, Ankita, for deciding about the uh, optional, I have told many times, but then I suppose I like to repeat that again, because that's a lot of time people have got lots of problem. In fact, I would like you to spend time with different optional that you have got in your on your radar, and then identify the one that you like more, and that one you like more also is the one you have had some exposure, all the better. It has got some GS overlap, all the more better. If you have got the material is available for that, and trend is going great, I think when you find all this converging, well, I suppose that is the optional. But then I would like to tell you one thing. If you have decided about a particular optional, commit towards it, and even if it is having some difficulty, accept that any optional that you may have had taken would have had some difficulty or other. So there is no backdoor entry in UPSC. Any optional people pass, but then you have to decide that which is my kind of optional. And I must tell you, it's you alone, Ankita, who can decide as to which is my kind of optional, and then accept the kind of problem that the optional may be having. And if you have accepted the problem, I suppose you would not regret taking that optional. Then we have, sir, next is Irfan. Good evening, good evening. Please give me some last minute tips how to address the CSAT paper. I'm a little poor in maths. Irfan, I suppose if you're giving it this year, I would like you to not be biased towards your negative. I think you should think of the positives that you have got, your strengths that you have got. It is too late a time that I would like you to imagine that your maths would become better. I don't believe in giving some hope like that. But then we are in our lives, we are not stopped by our weakness. We achieve by our strength. So whatever your strength, try consolidating those strengths. And then if you are able to consolidate those strengths, I suppose you are there, you are a winner. And I think maths also is not one particular full story. In math, we got so many dimensions. Try and identify the ones that you are slightly less bad at. The one you are, once you are identifying that area, the remaining part of maths where you are not as bad, that becomes your strength. And try practicing a bit, and then that is one thing I would like you to tell at this stage. Ushman. Now we have got next is someone says, so please discuss how to start preparing for UPSC CSC examination. Mr. Someone or Miss Someone, I would like to advise, if you are a new, you want to prepare for this examination, there are a few things I like you to do stepwise. I would quickly tell you. One thing that you should ask yourself as to why you want to prepare for this science examination. And if your why is very clear, it is a lot of problems sorted in future, because there are going to be problems. You will have to coming out of your comfort zone. You have to break the status quo, and then there will be challenges. So if your why is there, that will keep you kind of backed up, and then you would move ahead. Second thing that you should do is that you should be prepared as to what is the price I'm willing to pay for it. Quite often we want, but we don't want to give away, and that's transactional. Life is transactional for that matter. You have to prepare not to do list. I will give up this, 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 I'll give up my sleep, my comfort, and this and that, and finances, time, opportunity, this I will not do. So a lot of things that you, what I will not do, make a list of that. Third thing I would like to do is that you should be very clear where you are going. You should be very clear about the syllabus. You should buy heart the syllabus. And then once you have by hearted the syllabus, I suppose that's the way I like you to really be very clear about why you are uh, doing it. Then you have said, what are you willing to recant, what you're really ready to give up. Third, where I am going, I should be very clear. And fourth, you should be very clear about the demand of the destination. That means look at the PYQs, previous year's questions, read them so many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times so that you get an idea as to in the syllabus when they say this kind of question is asked. Once you're very clear about these four things, I repeat again. First, why. Second, what you are willing to pay for it. Third, what is the destination and the syllabus that is, and what is the demand of the destination. Once you're clear about these four things, after that there are two routes which appears for you. One is that you can go for your own on your own preparing for it, that you collect information and then start working towards it. And second, joining a coaching institute. But joining a coaching institute should not be only for, like, I mean, going to a bookshop and buying a book. Going to a coaching institute and getting information is not something which is what I would imagine that you should be doing. I'm going to go to a place which would not only give me the book, but also tell me how to write answer, how to make notes, how to really correct my mistakes. So if that is what you have got, so that is the one of the two methods that I would like you to employ, that you go on your own or you can go for a coaching institute. So deciding what the coaching institute, you can always reach us. We'll be very happy to guide you further on that. But if you're going on your own, please keep in mind those aspects I was just talking about while note making and answer writing a little while ago. Then we have got Krishna Kumar. Good evening. Good evening. What is the adequate and most acceptable format layout of 10-15 marks answer? Please elucidate. Krishna Kumar, I must tell you, we cannot give you a very rigid, watertight format to write an answer for 10 marks or 15 marks. If you ask me, with so many years, 3 decades of experience doing the same job, I have identified one thing. If you understand the question, I repeat it again. If you understand the question, you cannot go wrong. 10 marks, 5 marks, 2 marks, irrespective, whichever marks that you're talking about. There was a time when 2 marks questions were coming a lot. But a lot of time people don't understand the demand of the question. And to my understanding is that you should, instead of going for a fixed format for 10 marks or 15 marks, you should go on with the mindset that I will understand the demand of the question. And mostly you write more or write less just because you do not understand the question. So I think that's something which is what you should do that. And after understanding, do lots and lots of practice. So that timing is also important. Even if you understood the question, you can't really word it, you can't really time it. Well, I mean, that's not something which is what is expected. So you have to be careful of these facets also. And that's how I would like you to, Kunal, I would like to tell you to go about. Then, Bullet, there's the next question. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Bullet. How to do time management working aspirants? Bullet, I am really very happy that you have asked this question. This is one thing which I have always found that a lot of students ignore, and especially for working people or the people who are doing college, and uh, they struggle in time management a lot. In fact, I must tell you, uh, there's nothing called time management in my dictionary, because time, I find that manages on its own. I mean, you don't have to manage the time. Time does manage on its own. Just keep charging it, or just keep changing the battery, or just wind it, and then the time manages. No, it's actually about task management. You have got so many tasks to perform. How you manage the task, that is all about time management. And how to do the task management. The fundamental of task management is, I would call it as priority management. And what I mean by priority management is that you should not let the task be spread in front of you. Sometimes you pick up this, sometimes you pick up that. No, you should just place them like that, so that only one task is there in front of you at one point in time, and then once the time goes away, the next task comes, and only then it is visible. Then that goes, then the next one comes, and the next one. So stack all the tasks in priority. You may not be able to do everything, but whatever is there high on priority, that always gets done. Like, for example, no matter how busy you were, you never forgot to drink water, never forgot to sleep, never forgot to eat, never forgot to make call to your best friend. So it is just because these things are high on priority, they end up getting done. So the day you are able to understand your priority, you are able to understand it properly. And in fact, in the priority, there are two things which I like you to understand. Maybe someday you can read a bit on this. Eisenhower matrix of I would call it as uh, urgent and important. A lot of time we get so much engaged with urgent things that important things get buried. You look how you would be actually dealing with the urgent and important thing. Between the two, which one gets priority? And that is what all about time management. And I think this platform is limited, so can't really go too much into detail. But however, I would like to tell you that you can possibly do that. In fact, I have done a recent book called Metacomp, where at more than one level I have talked about this aspect of time management. The book is called Meta Competition by Dr. Khan. Anyway, coming back to this, we have Anuradha. So, how to prepare for CSAT and without any background in maths? Anuradha, let me first tell you, CSAT is not maths. That's a big misconception that you have got. And I suppose maths, which I remember in my days in the schools, there used to be something called as um, elementary maths and advanced maths. I was a student of advanced maths, and my teacher of advanced maths in my village that he used to say, maths is nothing but practice. Because when you do a lot of practice, your sense of understanding improves, the logics of maths improves, and quite often we just do it without logic. And that logic, if you get a good faculty who can probably plant in your mind, you understand it well, or otherwise by sheer practice also, you tend to acquire it. Like, for example, you do not know where the center of gravity of a cycle lies, but with practice, even if you don't know where is the center of gravity, you don't fall while you're cycling. So practice is the thing that you would basically, but if you get a mentorship, I suppose you will fall less often. Then we have got another Priya Kaushik. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Priya. Uh, what are the benefits of online learning, and what is the difference between online and offline learning? Priya, the online learning benefit that you have got, one big benefit is that you can stay at your comfort. You can watch the lecture several times over. Another benefit that you have got is that it is slightly cheaper also. Apart from that, you have got flexibility of time that you can possibly imagine that you get the best faculty without having to come out of your place. But then I must tell you that you get all what a physical class gets through that, provided you are making good use of it. And that is where I would like to tell you, watch live as much as possible. Do not give yourself a choice to repeat and revise it, though you have that benefit of repeating and revising it several times. But if you have not given yourself that option, your attention level goes high. Why you get less from a book? The same fact, largely because you know that books are frozen, it's not going to go anywhere, so attention level goes down. And why you get more in the classroom? Just because your attention level is high. And that is what the basic difference that we have got between the two. As far as KSG is concerned, we have got our offline online learning. The same faculty, you get the same material, you get the same kind of mentorship, you get the same kind of answer writing practice done while you are still at home. But then a lot of time while you are in the classroom, somebody is there to point out and tell you that, hey, why you are not writing? Or you feel bad and my neighbor is writing, I'm not writing. You have to motivate yourself when you are doing it from home. And then if you are able to do it, and I think you get everything that anybody can get while staying in 1 hour or coming to classes physically. Then we have got Sona Malik. How should we start preparing for UPSC if we are from rural background? I think your rural background and urban background and metropolitan background is not a qualification. In fact, a rural background does not make your chance better or worse for that matter. Your chance is as bright as any other person that you may be thinking about. So I would recommend that you should be first relieving yourself out of your clutches of the background, that my background is this or that, and then start looking forward. And now you have the technology, you have the same information available in your village. You must be watching me live now. And while you're watching me live, I'm sure you can watch the classes also live. So you get everything which is earlier possible only when you had come to a bigger cities and bigger center. Now you can get it at home. So this not affecting at all in that manner. So just come out of this feeling that I am from a rural area. How can I prepare? And that is something which I like you to come out of. Also, we have got Dhaval. Uh, Good evening, sir. How I can manage how I can manage UPSC preparation and KSG online course along with my job. I suppose though there's so many people who do it. You can also do it. A and B. I would like you to imagine, no matter the kind of job that you do, you've got some weekends available. You got some time at home. If you just kind of steal some time from your socialization, commutation, and other things, I'm hopeful that you always have uh, 25, 30 hours a week at your disposal to invest in your future. See, I mean, if you are working and you're having a job, you are basically cutting to your today's requirement. But then, if you can little bit work extra, cut down on your social, cut down on your sleep, cut down on your computation, come down on comfort, and then make some small investment of hours for your future. Your next 30, 35 years is going to be very different. That's my promise to you. So do not really consume all what you have earned. Invest in future. I'm sure the kind of dividend that it gives, it's going to be very, very bright and very, very high. I like you to invest in future. And then 25, 30 hours a week, it's quite possible if you have that kind of resolve and perseverance to last. And I'm sure you can do it. Now, the next we have got is Charan Cherry. Hello, sir. How to crack UPSC in first attempt without coaching? Is it possible, sir? Charan, I represent a coaching. I have seen people with coaching doing it, but you can also do the same thing on your own without coaching also. But for first attempt, I'd like you to tell you to crack. I would like you to keep your deviations. See, from here to here, if you have to go, if you make too many deviations, it takes longer time to reach there. You have to go closer to the optimal path, and then you should have your audit on a regular basis. Result may be declared on one day, but then it is actually being written every single day. Just keep auditing, just keep seeing that if my result is being built or not, and I'm sure you'll be able to reach to your destination and first attempt without coaching also. It is theoretically possible. However, there are fewer examples of this, but it is theoretically very much possible, I must agree. Then we have got Ayushi. Good evening, sir. How can we maintain consistency while preparing for UPSC, as it is very difficult to stay motivated and consistent? I suppose it is important that you realize that it is not one day or 2 days effort that is going to really build a big result. Your result will be built over a period of time. So it is important that you are conscious of this. And for that reason, I would like to highlight that uh, you basically remind yourself of the reason why you started this preparation, and then you should not go into a kind of situation where you say that, hey, I am doubting. All the doubts should be thrown into Bay of Bengal before you jump into the fray. So no doubt I have to do it. And then you can easily imagine, if you have invested time and energy, money, you should not think of a backup plan, or you should not think of failing. You should go ahead with full resolve. You may not get it, but if you start doubting yourself, well, you have already failed. So don't doubt it, and then be clear as to why I have prepared, and stop expectations. A lot of people around the world, around your company, around your family, they may be naysayers, and then these naysayers can possibly stop you. I suppose if they can stop you, how can you become a civil servant? I think there'll be so many naysayers who will be there when you are there in the job. So you have to have your own resolve. You have to ask all the difficult questions to yourself before you jump into the fray. And once there, I suppose there's no question to be asked, nothing to be worried about. Just single-mindedly you focus on the task. You may not still get it, but you will not regret that I did not give my best, I did not give my 100%. And that's what I'm interested in. Well, Sharma ji, good evening, good evening. We have got Ashna. Sir, I'm very confused about how to make and organize newspaper notes. Ashna, in the beginning, I was mentioning that when you're collecting information, collect it thematically. Don't go for diary writing approach. When you are making diary writing, that you write one day's event, today's day you write 8th of June, and then you write this, then 9th of June, this 11th, 10th of June, this 11th of June, this. No. That way everything will be mixed up. Thematically collect them. And what I mean by thematic collection is that you make one page for one particular theme of the GS and then go on collecting. And while you're collecting newspaper, I like to tell you a few tests. First of all, you should remember that this newspaper is not published for you. So if you have bought, you should not be going into that sunk investment syndrome. Sunk investment syndrome is that I have bought it, then now I have to spend time on this since I have bought. No, my investment has gone. No, not like that. It's not bought for you. It's not printed for you. You're not bought for reading the whole thing. You should know what I should be picking up. So anything and everything which connects with GS syllabus, that is something which you have to pick up. B, you have to also see that if I can pick up, will that information last till the examination or not? If they are going to change, forget about it. Third, you should also see that will this information, I should be able to revise multiple times and can I memorize it? If answer is yes, then those very small information that you should be collecting and making notes. And then those kind of notes would actually be useful for you. Otherwise, it's just people keep the newspaper in front of them and then write another newspaper. That's not something which I expect that you should be doing. And that's Ashna, I like you to keep in mind. Also, Triyambika, please share guidance for CSAT. I see CSAT has been a major problem. CSAT is qualifying paper. Don't forget that. You PT is qualifying, and within PT, CSAT is qualifying, double qualifying paper that you have got. But I think it's a concern for a lot of people because it has been evolving a lot. I would like you to basically identify CSAT areas of your weakness. CSAT is LR, CSAT is numeracy, CSAT is probability, CSAT is comprehension, whatever. CSAT is so many things. So first dissect the CSAT, don't approach it as CSAT. And then identify your weak areas. Do not go on like popping in multivitamins. You should know that which is where my vitamin deficiency is there, and that deficiency has to be catered. And then this is how I would like you to not approach CSAT as CSAT, approach it as like in segments that you can possibly break it, and within those segments you could possibly collect information and the way I like you to go about it. Well, Kuldeep, sir, can you please help me with the time management thing for us? How can I manage? I told you, I'm repeating that quickly again for you, Kuldeep. Time management is all about uh, task management. Task management is all about priority management, and priority management is all about efficiency management because nobody gets less or more time. Everybody gets same. Somebody able to achieve more is because they have more efficient. So if you don't give more time to yourself for the task that you may have allocated, mind becomes efficient with passage of time, and you start producing better. So that's the secret mantra of time management that you have got. Then we have got uh, next question is send some name themes for webinar. Will send you. So that's KSG. Muskan, good evening, sir. Good evening, Muskan. Being working aspirant, how is to do with time management? I've already explained time management, Muskan. And please share guidance for CSAT. I've done that already. Sweetie, sir, how to prepare for CSAT? I've already referred to that. CSAT is not CSAT. CSAT has to be dissected and then approached accordingly. Then aspirant, hi sir, I have joined KSG 2022 in ORN batch. Our syllabus is not completed on time and very poor faculty taught us. I mean, I think I'm very touched by this observation, and I'm really glad that you're flagging it for me on this live platform. Kindly let me know, since you are a student there, you have my personal number. Please, after this seminar gets over, you just PM me, and I'll be. I can promise you on this platform that I'll definitely have that addressed before you sleep tonight. All right. Then we have little scholar. Good evening. Good evening. Uh, I think Muskan taken the time management question. Then we have, sir, I am an initial stage and I take very much time in completing the book. I suppose that's very natural and normal for anybody to who is starting, that it'll take longer to complete the task. But I think it is important that keep working towards it. If you keep working towards that, I'm sure the efficiency improves. Because normally what happens, we don't train our mind for efficiency. We always are so much focused on the task, and we give so much importance to tasks that time takes a backseat. No, I think you should not give time more than it deserves to be given. And once it is given, you should try finishing it. If it is not finished, time finished, you change the task. And that way you would find that mind learns to become more efficient. And that efficiency training is very much core of achieving more in the same time, the same life, which what otherwise people do achieve in their lifetime. Then also, good evening, sir. How to cover all the topics along with current affairs? I told you just now that you should thematically collect information and then go about it. And we have got Ashna. Sir, we generally have FOMO for not studying in Delhi and not interacting with the student and teachers. How to overcome this? You yourself is FOMO. F is fear. That's a fear. It's not a reality. Quite often, you have got a lot of things which you are fearful of. Is not that it gives you anxiety, it gives you stress, it can cause you some panic, but then it is not real. In fact, if you see the syllabus, if you see the result this year, you find that a lot of students have passed the examination from different places. They were not in Delhi. I'll tell you one secret. If you're talking about Delhi as the largest number of people passing from here, I'll give you the counter argument. The largest number of people failing from any single city is Delhi. So it is not Delhi which is important. It is not Delhi which is important. I would say that uh, it is the persons who matter. So it is important that you should focus on yourself. You're competing with your own self. You're not competing with anybody else. Find a better version of your own self, and I'm sure you would be, Ashna, you will be able to surprise your own self with the results that you will be able to produce. uh, Shobit, sir, I haven't completed my optional till now. If I clear prelims, then I can complete the optional before September. It looks very difficult. But Shobit, I must tell you, you're not the first person who would have done it. There are people who have done it. Stay positive, focus on PT at this stage, and then I think it is possible, though it is not very common. It's not very easy also. Um, Being working aspirant, how to do time management? I think I've already done, Muskan. Uh, when is the best time to start the civil service preparation, during graduation or after graduation? See, the kind of results that we have been getting these days, I mean, it is mostly, I have found that people who start the preparation during the graduation, they get more time to really cover the things better. But then it doesn't mean that those people who have graduated already, they have missed the bus. It's not like that. You can start anytime. UPSC doesn't give time to start preparation. UPSC gives time to write the examination. And well, the early bird advantage is always there. If you start early, because in college you get lots of time that you can possibly use it, capitalize it for the purpose that UPSC that UPSC demands. That means skilling, collection of information, and you gradually can acquire more information. But then, if you have already done graduation, there are thousands and thousands of examples who prepare after that and then make good grades in their first attempt itself. Divya sir, at times it gives overwhelming to do our newspaper. Uh, One core subject per day or topic or two, a bit of optional and revision of everything. Read since morning, current affairs, revision. Well, I know it is, they were very logical to assume that it is overwhelming. But then let me tell you one thing. Is it same syllabus, same exam for everybody? And is Divya less than anybody else? Certainly not. If anybody can do, you can do it. You have a choice. You can look for excuses or can work towards success. I'll tell you one secret here. What most of us are chasing is not success. Yes, you heard it right. It's not success. We're chasing satisfaction. If you're chasing satisfaction, satisfaction is just not happening. If you're chasing success, keep moving with time. Allocate time to a particular thing and do not give a second more than, do not give a minute more than that. And that's how I would like you to proceed. And then you'll find that your efficiency improves. And that is a technique they call it as time boxing. Like do a mental dumping in the morning, that what all I have to do, how much time I have to give to everything, and then do not really change the time. Whatever time that you may have located, if that gets done. Otherwise, you move to the next task. And that's how I would like you to really proceed. And I'm sure, Divya, you will be proud of your own accomplishment as it improves, your efficiency improves as you proceed further. How you deal with this, I think I've already explained this. Priya question, sir, how to cover current affairs while covering GS subjects? Priya, I explained this again. I'm repeating that we have to see the GS area and then connect it with the current. So when you're talking about current, you should not be taking up as in isolation. In KSG, we are very conscious of this, and that is why we produce a magazine. It's available on our website, ksgindia.com, free. You can download that, and that is called Current Connect. So every time we have a current, we connect it with the segment of this GS, and that is how you can make good use of it. So Current Connect, a magazine that you can possibly see, that will help you to identify the information, because if you just got current and then just keep on throwing, it doesn't really fit in. There is a pigeonhole. If you have those boxes, you know which current goes into which segment of GS, and that is how this Current Connect magazine would help you. Also, we have given the importance of revision. At times, I feel drained out and don't even revise at all. Uh, that I study. Kindly suggest us alternatives to revision instead of glancing through the same pages again and again. Divya, I agree with you 100%, 100%, that revision is extremely boring because there's no excitement of learning anything here. But then I would like to tell you that revision is not revisitation. Understand this word carefully. Revisitation is that reading the same thing over and over again, revisiting again. Revision is like envisioning. I would like you to create demand of a thing that you want to revise. If you read something one, two, three times, that's it. After that, you should take some question and you're not able to answer that. Then you should go back and then try look for those areas which is where you faltered and where you could not get information. Secondly, you should try teaching somebody. You should try thinking about it. Try writing down textual, vocal, or generate a demand. And when you once you generate demand, I like you to go back and then read the same thing. You'll find it more exciting. And that's the way I like it to revision, not revisitation. See, should we first prepare for admission in masters or start preparing for civil services before? I suppose, Naseeb, it is not a demand of the UPSC, but then if your age allows and if you want to have a backup plan, you can possibly do both. But then if not, I have seen so many students, and then you know lots of names like um, uh, uh, Tina or Shrishti Deshmukh, I mean, those who joined KSG, they did not go for masters and they were confident about what they want in life. And if you get in service in early age, it's always an advantage that you have got there. Also, we have got Arena. So when KSG new batch starting in Hyderabad, KSG, you have those details available on the center. By July, we have got June, we have got those batches are starting. There are some batches in July also. You can see our details on our website, ksgindia.com, and then you would find that our batches are going to start. One batch uh, every center is having in the month of June. So you see the dates, and then you can start it on 21st June is the date for Hyderabad. Likewise, if you want to know about Bhopal or Delhi or Indore, you can always get those details from there. Also, we have, unfortunately, despite I linking my optional subject as a whole, I don't understand why I'm not able to stay consistent with this subject. Please tell me what kind of analysis I've got to do, sir. See, I told you the liking thing has to be important, and then I told you after liking, you have to commit. And once you commit it, don't look for options. And that is very important as a life lesson, as a fatherly suggestion I can give you. You have options before, but once after you're committed, don't have options. So if you're not committed to it, there will be a problem. So it is very important that you should stay committed to it. Uh, Ruchi, good evening, sir. There is a high level of uncertainty of passing in this examination, which derails the track of studies. So, how to cope up with, recuperate from such fear? Well, it depends. Like, I mean, we have got negative bias which operates in our mind. Negative bias that you have got a few lakh people fail every year. If you look into that, your mind will be definitely biased. But then I'll tell you one thing. We have got a close to 1,000 people pass every year. You should look at that aspect. I think we know the reality of death. We see people dying here and there, and then, but it's not every day that we see. Every day we see people living. We all know that we all will die one day. Do we stop living? No. So look at the positive part of it. Look at the happy part of it. Look at that. There's not one person who passes every year. A few hundred passed every year, and you want just one. If you look from this perspective, it looks very doable. So many hundreds can pass. Why can't I, as one seat, can get it? And that's the way I like it to. But if you go on asking people, people would mostly talk about negatives. But then that's what negativity is there, and that attracts the attention of the people. If I have a page in hand and if I put a dot, if I show you the page, you only say the dot. You don't say the white part of this page. So that's what life is. Depends how you look at it. And then you are young, Ruchi, and I'm sure you should look at the positive way of it. There's more to life, and that's what it's you should be looking at. There's more to success. There are a few hundred people pass every year, and you just want one. Why not? It is quite possible. Don't be negative bias as what our minds have always been. Now we have got. So please guide me to prepare while staying in Hyderabad. I cannot come to Delhi. Rashid, I must tell you that you don't have to come to Delhi if you are in Hyderabad. KSG has reached in Hyderabad. We have got large number of students who have cleared from Hyderabad in the past, and that made us committed. In fact, we went all the way. We have our best of the faculties are flying to Hyderabad. It's one of the newest centers that we have got, and then we get you the same facilities, the same faculties, the same material, and most importantly, the same mentorship of the people who have mentored the best names of the country, the most popular and successful achievers of the country. The same mentors would reach you in Hyderabad. You will meet them in person. I'm there. I'm reaching there in person. I'll be there with you. And then you would learn all the finer points. You can get the information, you can get the facts, you can get the material, you can get all what is factually required. But what I'm interested in is that you will get the same mentorship and same set of guidance that has been given to the people in Delhi and other achievers in other centers of Delhi. So Hyderabad has got everything KHC had, and KHC is very focused on Hyderabad these days for the simple reason that we have got now that it's one of our newest center, and we want a lot of results from there. So we are very focused on Hyderabad, and we will definitely be able to churn out good results from there. Our best faculties are there working very hard, and it's top of our priorities at the moment. We have got where is KSG located in Hyderabad? I suppose Hyderabad is very keen center that we have got. Himayat Nagar is the place that we are located, which is very close to Ashok Nagar. That's the majority of the people that are there. In fact, we have one of our best centers there. Fewer number of students, individual focus is given, and then we are able to get some good results coming out very soon from Hyderabad. I can promise you that. Also, can I do job with UPSC? I suppose you are not in Engineer News Wala. I think it's an interesting name that you kept. Yes, a lot of people do with job, and I think you can also do it. Online coaching is definitely a good platform that you can use. How to prepare UPSC with job? I suppose there's no different. Your preparation level is same. If you're doing a job that you intellectually have definitely proven yourself, prove one more time for a higher goal, you can do it. 25, 30 hours a week is something which I have been always telling people that you should set aside, and you should be able to achieve that. Also, we have when is the new batch for CSAT 2025 starting in Hyderabad? I think I've already told you that 21st of June that we have got the new batches coming up. Online courses can give me a better environment than offline classes. I think your uh, environment is your own ecosystem, your own table is where we are reaching you through the cloud live, and then that's the best place I can imagine. but you should be motivated enough, and you get the same mentorship, the same evaluation, the same support that anybody can get. Sir, I have learned something amazing from you, and thank you so much. Hey, Engineer News Wala, I think that's an interesting name that I'll never forget this, and I'm really grateful that you have acknowledged this. And that's all I think that I would have for this evening. We would be very happy and then available to you whenever you need us. In fact, I must tell you that the online course that we have got, for us, it's no different. We give you the same classroom live lecture in your living room, in your bedroom, or in your mobile, in your laptop, or in your tablet, wherever you want in your screen. And then you are actually competing with the best in the country, because your results that we process, we compare it with other students in different centers of Delhi and Bhopal and Jaipur and other places. And that is how we are able to really let you know as to where you stand at a given point in time. You are audited, you are evaluated, and then you are told your position, irrespective of the fact that you are not located in the center where you have got your classes going on. So you can stay at home and you can get all the benefits through the cloud, and then produce the good result. And it gives me confidence to say that, because we have definitely happy that we have got rank 36, which this year, there are many actually, rank 36 this year has been our KOL KSG online student. And then this was a byproduct of I would call it as COVID, but then it has matured as a model, and it has matured as a technology. It has matured on our medium of delivery, and it gives me confidence that we are able to produce the same kind of outcome as we do in the offline classes. And I'm sure it will definitely benefit you. We would stop this discussion here. However, if you got any query, please do not hesitate on getting back to us on the details given in the description. We'll be very happy. I'll personally be very happy to get back to each one of you. You can visit our centers also. You can reach us online, and we would definitely be part of your journey, and it'll be a pleasure. Thank you very much, and good night to all of you. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you and interacting live. Thank you.